Alleged robber fatally shot by police. The Guyana police force wishes to inform that ranks responded this evening to a report of an alleged robbery at the GST Chinese supermarket, located at Aubrey Barker Road and Blue Saki Drive. During the incident, security guard Siobhan Yearwood sustained a gunshot wound to her left shoulder. In the course of a confrontation with the police inside the supermarket, one of the suspects, identified as Cordell Eastman, was shot and killed. A 9mm Glock pistol was recovered at the scene. Truck driver killed after failing to negotiate turn. Guyana Times. A lorry driver is dead after failing to negotiate a turn, causing his vehicle to run off the road, crash through fences, and come to a stop under a homeowner's shed. The deceased has been identified as 67-year-old O'Neill Adrian of Woodley Park Village, West Coast Burbus, WCB, Region 5, Mahaica Burbus. The crash occurred on Saturday afternoon while Adrian was driving motor lorry JL 1539 east along Cotton Tree Public Road. As he approached a bend, he lost control, collided with concrete fences, and ended up in a vehicle shed, becoming pinned inside the truck. With the help of bystanders, Adrian was rescued and rushed to Fort Wellington Public Hospital, where he was pronounced dead on arrival. Homeowner Bumesh Shivnarine recounted hearing a loud noise and seeing dust from the impact. "I was in the backyard when I heard a lot of noise, and when I came to the front, I saw the truck. The driver was inside, and people were trying to get him out. We tied a rope to the steering wheel and managed to pull him out," he said. Shivnarine mentioned that he called the police after others said they had contacted them, but officers arrived claiming they had not received any report. The crash caused damage to fences on 2 properties and a car ramp that stored vehicle rims in the shed. Chitreka Behari, the wife of the deceased, explained that Adrian worked for a private contractor transporting cane harvesters. She said he left home around 6:30 a.m. on Saturday for work and returned at midday for lunch, after which she did not see him again. Behari received a call informing her that her husband was being taken to Fort Wellington Hospital. Upon arrival, she was told he had died from internal bleeding. The doctor said that's what caused him to stop breathing. His heart gave out. "They took him for x-rays," she said. The couple had been together for 40 years and had 1 child. The police reported that Adrian's body is currently at Bailey's funeral home awaiting a post-mortem examination. Expert pathologists rule out theory that Adriana was killed and dumped in pool. Newsroom. Pathologists conducting the autopsy of 11-year-old Adriana Young, who died last Wednesday, have ruled out the possibility of forced drowning or that she was killed and subsequently thrown into a body of water. This finding was announced during a press conference on Monday evening at State House by President Dr. Irfan Ali and Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony. The announcement followed a detailed post-mortem examination conducted by independent experts earlier that day. The pathologists had intended to brief the media but were unable to do so due to a tense standoff between the police and local residents. President Ali stated, "The relatives were informed that the pathologists ruled out theories of forcible drowning or any other means of killing, followed by the disposal of the body in water." The autopsy was performed by Dr. Glenn A. Rudner of Mount Sinai Hospital, New York, Dr. Shubhaker Kara Paul, a government-appointed pathologist from Barbados, and Dr. Gary L. Collins, Chief Medical Examiner for the state of Delaware, selected by Adriana's family. President Ali revealed that the autopsy began around 1320 HRS and aimed to identify any signs of trauma, injuries, or sexual violence, as well as to collect forensic samples and determine the cause of death. The procedure was thoroughly documented with photographs and video. In their preliminary findings, the pathologists confirmed no signs of trauma or sexual assault, and they found no fractures or broken bones. The markings observed on her skin were consistent with death by drowning, with no evidence suggesting that it was forced. However, the experts were unable to establish an exact time of death due to the body's advanced state of decomposition. Toxicology tests are still pending and will be included in the final report. "If you love my daughter, please stop the violence," father of Adriana Young. Newsroom. In an emotional TikTok video on Tuesday morning, Subrian Young, the father of 11-year-old Adriana Young, called for an end to violence following a night of fiery protests, robberies, and disturbances. Speaking from the heart, the grieving father emphasized that his beloved daughter was not a violent person and abhorred violence in any form. He pleaded with the public to remain peaceful. Subrian shared that he was distraught after receiving information from the pathologists about his daughter's passing. However, he firmly believes that Adriana would not want any violent actions to take place. Everybody out there who says they love Adriana and want to be there for her, know that she wouldn't like violence. I'm telling you the truth from my heart. From my heart, Adriana doesn't like violence. She is not a violent girl. So if you truly love my daughter, please stop the violence and protest in a peaceful way, Subrian urged in his video message. Young's tragic death last week has sparked widespread public outcry. Pathologists confirmed on Monday that she died by drowning. Following this announcement, protests erupted across Guyana, with many still in disbelief. Reports of robberies, looting, and other disturbances also surfaced. Kenesha Vaughn case adjourned to May 12. Newsroom: the court case involving businessman Marlon Da Silva, charged with the brutal killing of his partner, Kenesha Vaughn, has been adjourned to May 12, 2025. This decision follows the prosecution's filing of additional statements. The case was heard on Monday afternoon before Principal Magistrate Judy Latchman. Da Silva is currently awaiting a preliminary inquiry, PI, a judicial hearing in the magistrate's court for serious offenses such as murder. This is not a trial. Before a PI can commence, certain procedures must be followed, including the disclosure of witness statements. In Vaughn's case, not all statements have yet been disclosed to the court. The PI cannot begin until this is complete. Once the evidence is presented, witnesses will be called to testify. The court will then determine whether there is sufficient evidence for Da Silva to proceed to trial, which would typically take place in the High Court before a judge. Da Silva is accused of killing Vaughn on the evening of February 22 at their home in Diamond Housing Scheme, East Bank Demerara, shortly after returning from a gathering with friends at a local venue. Reports indicate that Vaughn called Da Silva, asking him to come home, which annoyed him. According to police reports, an argument ensued, during which Da Silva allegedly slapped Vaughn. In retaliation, Vaughn reportedly reached for a knife and approached him. At that point, Da Silva drew his licensed firearm and discharged several rounds in her direction, hitting her. Vaughn fell to the ground, and police were called. She was taken to Diamond Hospital, where she died while receiving treatment. The incident was captured on CCTV footage, which has been admitted as evidence. Da Silva was charged with murder based on legal advice from the Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP. President says PME of Adriana Young rules out forced drowning. By news source Guyana. President Irfan Ali announced on Monday night that 3 independent forensic pathologists have ruled out forced drowning in the case of 11-year-old Adriana Young. This disclosure was made during a late-night press conference at State House, shortly after the post-mortem examination at the Georgetown Public Hospital, GPHC. The examination determined that Young, who was found dead in a pool at the Doubleday Hotel last Thursday, died as a result of drowning. She had been reported missing the day before while at an outing with relatives. The relatives were informed that the pathologists ruled out theories of forceful drowning or any other means of killing, followed by the disposal of the body in water, President Ali stated, alongside Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony. The postmortem was conducted by 3 independent pathologists, Dr. Gary Collins, Chief Medical Examiner of Delaware, Dr. Glenn Rudner of Mount Sinai Hospital, and Dr. Shubhaker Kara Paul from Barbados. The autopsy began at 13:20 HRS and lasted over 4 hours, including a forensic CT scan and X-ray at Balwant Singh Hospital. The objectives of the examinations included identifying signs of trauma or injuries, detecting signs of sexual violence, collecting forensic samples, and documenting the procedure through photographs and video. Upon completing the procedure, the forensic pathologists ruled out signs of physical and sexual trauma. After careful deliberation, they concluded that Ms. Young died as a result of drowning, the president said. However, due to the state of decomposition of Young's body, the pathologists were unable to establish a precise time of death. Once the examinations were completed, Young's parents and other relatives were briefed on the findings. The girl's father has rejected the conclusions, insisting that his daughter was killed and later placed in the hotel's pool. Relatives have stated that the pool was searched multiple times prior to the discovery of her body. The pathologists are expected to finalize their report, which will be made available to the family within legal limits. A toxicology test is also anticipated. Young's death has sparked widespread protests, with the autopsy results leading to further unrest in various parts of the country, including fires along major roadways. Cyclist killed in early morning accident in New Amsterdam. The news desk reports police in Regional Division No. 6 are investigating a fatal accident that claimed the life of a 53-year-old cyclist early Tuesday morning on Princess Elizabeth Road in New Amsterdam, Berbice. The accident occurred around 6:15 hours and involved motor car #PAB2622, owned by Lakeram Surupchand of Lot 192 to 193 No. 2 Village, East Kanch. The vehicle was being driven by 37-year-old Andrew King of Lot 32 Main Street, Cumberland, East Kanch, who is a licensed driver. The other party involved was Leland Rees, a resident of Lot 22 Smithfield, New Amsterdam, who was riding an electric cycle at the time of the incident. According to police reports, Rees sustained severe injuries and was rushed to the New Amsterdam Public Hospital by bystanders in an unconscious state. Despite receiving medical attention, he tragically succumbed to his injuries. His body is currently at the hospital mortuary, awaiting a post-mortem examination. A breathalyzer test was administered to the driver, revealing no trace of alcohol in his system. He is currently in police custody, assisting with the ongoing investigation. Police arrest over 100 for various offenses linked to fiery protests, looting, and robberies. By news source Guyana. The Guyana police force announced today that the joint services have successfully normalized the situation in Georgetown and other areas following last evening's fiery protests, along with numerous incidents of robbery and looting. In a statement, the police confirmed that joint services patrols will continue to maintain a strong presence in the regions to ensure law and order. Over the past 24 hours, more than 100 individuals have been arrested for various offenses, including armed robbery. Additionally, 37 motorcycles used in the commission of these crimes have been seized. Charges will be filed against those in custody shortly, and wanted bulletins have been issued for several others suspected of inciting public terror. The unrest in Georgetown and surrounding areas escalated last night, with debris and tires blocking several roads and multiple robbery incidents reported. In two separate robbery incidents, police shot and killed two suspects, one of whom was previously known to law enforcement for a prior robbery charge. Today, many businesses in the city, including malls and mega stores, chose to remain closed, while others closed early as a precaution. 12:30 a.m. to 5 a.m. curfew takes effect across Guyana to restore public order. By news source Guyana. In response to widespread protests and incidents of robbery and looting across the country, the Ministry of Home Affairs has announced an immediate curfew from 12:30 a.m. to 5 a.m. During these hours, public meetings, gatherings, processions, and marches are prohibited. The gazetted order, signed by Minister of Home Affairs Robeson Ben, emphasizes that the curfew is being implemented for the sake of public safety and order, effective from April 29, 2025. The decision follows a night marked by fires set on major roadways and reports of businesses being looted in Georgetown, alongside other criminal activities. The Guyana police force stated that all available video footage and evidence are being actively reviewed. Those implicated in criminal conduct, including arson, road blockages, property damage, personal violence, and acts of domestic terrorism, will be arrested and charged. Offenders will also be placed on a no-fly list, with their information shared with regional and international law enforcement agencies. In a separate statement, the Police Commissioner's Office acknowledged opposition leader Aubrey Norton's recent comments distancing himself from the criminal acts occurring throughout the country. While recognizing the importance of political leaders condemning unlawful behavior, the police force remains committed to upholding the rule of law. The statement reiterated that any individual, regardless of political affiliation, found engaging in criminal activities will face the full extent of the law. Protests erupted on Monday evening following the autopsy results of 11-year-old Adriana Young, who was found dead in a pool at the Doubleday Hotel last Thursday. The autopsy concluded that she died by drowning and found no evidence of forced drowning. Following the discovery of her body, which occurred one day after she was reported missing, protests began outside the hotel, which was later completely gutted by fire. Nigel Hughes condemns violence and criminal activities following Adriana Young's autopsy. Newsroom: Alliance for Change leader Nigel Hughes issued a statement regarding the tragic death of Adriana Young, following the preliminary findings that her cause of death was drowning. While this report marks an important step in understanding the circumstances of Adriana's passing, many questions remain unanswered. Hughes emphasized the urgent need for a full, thorough, and transparent investigation to determine how and why Adriana drowned. He strongly condemned the subsequent acts of violence, property destruction, looting, and road blockages that have occurred following the announcement of the autopsy findings. These actions undermine the pursuit of justice and do not honor Adriana's memory. Violence, lawlessness, and disorder must never be the response to grief or outrage. Not in Adriana Young's name, he stated. Hughes called for citizens to act peacefully and lawfully as they seek the truth about her death. Justice must be pursued with resolve, but always with respect for the rule of law and the rights of all, he added. He affirmed the commitment to ensuring that Adriana's passing is neither forgotten nor misused, advocating for true accountability. Norton distances himself from criminal activities. Police to charge all culprits. Newsroom: In a statement, the Guyana police force responded to comments made by opposition leader Aubrey Norton, affirming that all individuals involved in criminal activities will face penalties. Mr. Norton alleged that those looting, setting fires, and engaging in other criminal acts across Guyana are supporters of the People's Progressive Party Civic, PPP/C. He distanced himself and his party from these activities. In response, the police emphasized that any individual caught participating in criminal behavior will be held accountable. While the force acknowledges the importance of political leaders denouncing unlawful activities, it is crucial to stress that the Guyana police force is committed to upholding the rule of law. Any person found engaging in criminal actions will face the full extent of the law, the statement read. Recent disturbances have occurred in various parts of the country following the disclosure of the cause of death of 11-year-old Adriana Young. The unrest began after an official autopsy confirmed that Adriana died by drowning, a conclusion that has sparked public outcry and disbelief. Protests quickly escalated, leading to reports of fires on roadways, damage to private property, and looting of businesses and restaurants. During a press conference on Monday night, President Dr. Irfan Ali acknowledged citizens' rights to peaceful protest but condemned the violent turn some demonstrations have taken. We will protect every citizen's right to peacefully demonstrate and express their concerns. However, with those rights come responsibilities. If individuals breach the law, there must and will be consequences, he stated. The president also criticized the apparent politicization of the protests, calling such actions selfish and harmful to national unity. In a separate statement, the police reported that all videos, images, and other available evidence are being reviewed, and any individuals implicated in criminal activities will be arrested and charged. Additionally, culprits will be placed on a no-fly list. 12:30 a.m. to 5 a.m. curfew takes effect across Guyana to restore public order. By news source Guyana. In response to widespread protests and incidents of robbery and looting across the country, the Ministry of Home Affairs has announced an immediate curfew from 12:30 a.m. to 5 a.m. During these hours, public meetings, gatherings, processions, and marches are prohibited. The gazetted order, signed by Minister of Home Affairs Robeson Ben, emphasizes that the curfew is being implemented for the sake of public safety and order, effective from April 29, 2025. The decision follows a night marked by fires set on major roadways and reports of businesses being looted in Georgetown, alongside other criminal activities. The Guyana police force stated that all available video footage and evidence are being actively reviewed. Those implicated in criminal conduct, including arson, road blockages, property damage, personal violence, and acts of domestic terrorism, will be arrested and charged. Offenders will also be placed on a no-fly list, with their information shared with regional and international law enforcement agencies. In a separate statement, the police commissioner's office acknowledged opposition leader Aubrey Norton's recent comments distancing himself from the criminal acts occurring throughout the country. While recognizing the importance of political leaders condemning unlawful behavior, the police force remains committed to upholding the rule of law. The statement reiterated that any individual, regardless of political affiliation, found engaging in criminal activities will face the full extent of the law. Protests erupted on Monday evening following the autopsy results of 11-year-old Adriana Young, who was found dead in a pool at the Doubleday Hotel last Thursday. The autopsy concluded that she died by drowning and found no evidence of forced drowning. Following the discovery of her body, which occurred one day after she was reported missing, protests began outside the hotel, which was later completely gutted by fire. Government contemplating earlier and longer curfew hours, says Home Affairs Minister. By news source Guyana, the national curfew, currently set from 12:30 a.m. to 5 a.m., may be adjusted to begin even earlier, according to Minister of Home Affairs Robeson Ben. Minister Ben announced that a review is underway, which could see the curfew starting as early as 10 p.m. However, he emphasized that no final decision has been made regarding the length of the curfew. The curfew might start earlier tonight, and we are reviewing how late or early it will go in the morning. It can start as early as 10 p.m. We are assessing the situation, Minister Ben stated. This morning, the minister was on the streets with members of the joint services, assisting in clearing roadways blocked during last night's fiery protests. The current curfew order prohibits public meetings, gatherings, assemblies, processions, or marches during the hours of 12:30 a.m. and 5 a.m. This order follows a night marked by fires on major roadways across the country and reports of looting in Georgetown. Minister Ben said the Ministry of Home Affairs is closely monitoring the situation, as the Guyana Police Force, supported by the Guyana Fire Service, works to clear debris and restore free movement. We have been up all night monitoring the situation to determine where assistance is needed to restore law and order. We aim to show a presence in the city and encourage citizens to return to lawful behavior, he said. He further noted that the ministry will continue to monitor developments on the ground to prevent a recurrence of unrest. Minister Ben expressed concern that normalcy has not yet been fully restored. There is no excuse for the behavior we witnessed. President Irfan Ali met with the family during a time of heightened emotions and provided assurances for an early autopsy. At the family's request, foreign doctors will be brought in to ensure a thorough forensic examination. Nevertheless, the behavior on social media has been unacceptable. Posts promoting public mischief will result in arrests, he added. Minister Ben condemned the violent protests, robberies, and looting, attributing them to either criminal behavior or political opportunism. He emphasized the importance of restoring normalcy in Guyana, ensuring that all citizens, particularly women and children, feel safe. Region 10 leaders condemn violence, urge calm. Statement on justice and peace in honor of Adriana Young. The following is a joint statement from the elected leaders of Region 10, including Vice Chairman Mark Goring, Members of Parliament Devon Sears and Germaine Figuera, Mayor Sharma Rahim Solomon, and Deputy Mayor Dominique Blair, as read by Regional Chairman Darren Adams. As elected leaders and guardians of Linden and Region 10, we mourn deeply with our community and the entire nation over the tragic death of Adriana Young. Her life, full of promise and innocence, was cut short by an unspeakable act, and our hearts cry out for justice. We stand united in our grief and, more importantly, in our unwavering demand for accountability, justice, and reform. We also acknowledge the profound pain and uncertainty gripping our community in Linden and Region 10 following the recent tragic deaths of Ronaldo Peters and Kian Fogene. However, we are deeply disturbed by the actions of those who, under the guise of protest, have chosen a path of lawlessness, looting businesses, destroying property, and undermining the very spirit of our cause. Let us be clear, these acts do not honor Adriana, Ronaldo, or Kian. They do not reflect the values of our people. They are not justice, they are distractions from it. At this critical moment, we urge all residents to respect the rule of law. Peaceful protest is a fundamental right in any democracy, but looting, damage to public property, and acts of violence threaten to derail our pursuit of justice and risk provoking confrontations that endanger lives. If these disruptions continue, they will not only delay justice but also severely impact the daily lives of Londoners, interrupting access to healthcare, education, transportation, and essential public services, particularly affecting our children preparing for CXC and CAPE examinations. We must also remain vigilant against those who may use this time of grief and frustration to sow division and discord. Let us not allow mischief makers to compromise our unity or our goals. This is how we build a legacy worthy of Adriana's name. Let us make our voices impossible to ignore, not with violence, but with vision. Justice is our right, and peace is our power. As your elected representatives, we stand with every citizen demanding justice and answers. The process toward justice has begun, and we must remain vigilant to ensure it is thorough, transparent, and impartial.